Hello and good morning. It's Phil Thatch and I am in downtown Chattanooga, Tennessee today. I've got the R6 Mark II and I'm starting off with the 24-105. I'm just sitting here on the curb directly across the street from the James building. And so far I've just been fooling around with panning blurs. Haven't gotten really any good ones so far, but I've got my camera set up two ways. I can flip it to FV and I'm set up for panning blur, and then I switch it to manual and I'm set up for street. So I can change back and forth really quick. And I'm going to continue working here and see if I can get a nice blur of something going by, and then maybe continue in other areas of downtown Chattanooga. I worked that panning blur spot for about 15 or 20 minutes and I think I only got one that I liked. And usually I shoot 1/40th for panning blurs, but on this shot I got it pretty sharp at 1/25th, which made the background blur that much better. Let's take a look. Here's my first shot. I just love Broad Street with the trees growing right down the middle of it. There's an island in the middle of Broad Street, and I caught this gentleman as he was crossing the street. And in the exact same position, but looking straight ahead instead of to my left, I made this 1/25th of a second panning blur with the Dodge Charger going down the road. You've got the completely streaked James building, and the trees that are in the middle of Broad Street are nicely streaked as well. And the car is pretty well firmly in focus, and with the window down you can see the driver pretty good. Love how this shot turned out. Street photography is strange to me. I have to really be in the mood for it, and I'm just kind of not in the mood for it this morning, but I'm still taking pictures of this, that, and the other thing, and trying to avoid sirens. I think I probably say that every time I go out to do street photography. It's just uncomfortable for me taking photographs of strangers, candid photographs of strangers. But when I get home with the shots, I'm always fairly happy with them. Look at these three folks. I guess they're all getting off the bus and kind of looking at each other. And here's a up-close shot showing off the minimum focus distance, or not all of it, but a lot of the minimum focus distance of the Canon 24-105. This is the way I originally edited the picture with the wide crop, but in the video I made two different versions of the same shot. And of course, there's always some flowers downtown Chattanooga in the summertime, so I made another close-up shot with the 24-105. I came down here to this alley that's just right around the corner from the umbrella alley. Smaller little alley. And I was going to take a picture of this bicycle up here on the second floor that every street photographer in the Chattanooga area has made a photograph of. And while I was doing that, I noticed that there's some rock pigeons in the top up there, which I don't know if I can get that in the frame, but they're flying back and forth between these two buildings, and I've made a couple of really backlit shots of them. Here's the bicycle that everybody makes a photograph of, and I think I probably have photographed this bicycle before, but I went ahead and made another shot just to kind of keep me going. And this shot, it took a long time to get it right. I took so many shots of the birds as they were flying across, and at first I didn't worry about any of the composition. I just wanted to catch the birds, but eventually I realized that I wanted the buildings to look cool too, so I really worked hard to get them nice and even, and this shot with only one bird ended up being my favorite one. And then I went around the corner and I liked the way this ivy was growing out into the sidewalk with the crepe myrtles bokeh-fied in the background. I've made a photograph in a previous video of this parking garage, the spiraling ramp that goes into the parking garage. I've made photographs of it before, and today I was walking past it and I noticed that the concrete area below it with its windows, concrete windows, and an air conditioning unit in the center of it was kind of interesting. So I made a shot or two of that. I thought this photo was going to be really cool, but then when I got home and worked on it, I didn't like it nearly as much. But I went ahead and shared it with you because I talked about it in the video. This is a 24mm shot, and this shot is 105mm. It's the telephoto end of the lens, but I still cropped it to make it wide. I like all the details around the man walking his dog. And this was a huge spigot for a fire department hookup in downtown Chattanooga. I love the red colors oxidized to pink and the off-white background. And of course, anytime I go downtown, I got to make a photograph looking up 8th Street to see the Dome building in the background. Here's a family walking across Broad Street, but you can see Broad Street, Market Street, and several more streets. This fountain was off, but I liked the reflection that it made with the water not stirring. And here's a shot from a little bit further up. This is from Cherry Street, 3 blocks away from the last photograph that I made of the Dome building. But I do love to photograph that building. It's probably my favorite building in downtown Chattanooga. I wish I had time to set my camera up for a panning blur of this guy as he rode across, but I just did a regular 1/800th of a second shot. And look at those mittens he's got, those green mittens. And one more street crosser here. I always enjoy photographing people as they cross the street. They often have either a very determined or sometimes a very aloof look as they cross the road. Thanks for watching another street photography video from downtown Chattanooga. I try to do these every once in a while, mix them in with mostly wildlife and bird videos, but a little street photography every now and then does me good.